This video is instruction on completing the CW3 portion of our creative writing project. The first thing you're going to want to do is to go to CW2, click on Edit, click on Select All, hold down the Control key, and tap C, then go to a new document, CW, and call it CW3, hold down the Control key, tap V. Now, last time we did this, we were putting together nouns, things we were going to describe. And today we're going to work on verbs and adjectives. I think to keep things separate, the best thing to do to start with is to highlight all of the words you've written down and then bold them. That will cause them to pop off the page a little bit. And then after the one in the left-hand column, type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that it looks kind of like this. And then you can hit the delete key to bring the next word up to it. So there we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is to use verbs to describe what the mouth can do. And there are two ways to look at this, and that is that there are things that the mouth does quite literally, like open, shut, etc. There are also some verbs you can use to personify mouth. So at any rate, here are, and you may not use your title or any form of your title in any of the words that you're choosing today. So let's take a look at mouth. The first verb I came up with was gapes, because the mouth is simply hanging there open, and so I'm going to use gapes. It also looks somewhat moist, so I think we can also say drips. So notice I'm taking a little bit of license here. We don't actually see dripping things there, but I can imagine that it might. We might also notice that he is in a threatening posture, so we could say that the mouth warns. We could also imagine, and this might be somewhat unpleasant, but given the nature of the picture, we could say that it is releasing, like it is releasing his breath, which is probably rather unpleasant, but notice that, but we can use releases. And also, it certainly is helping him get a point across, so I'm going to say expresses as well. So those are the 5 verbs. Please notice that none of them end in ing. Your verbs should not end in ing. Now I'm going to look for some adjectives. Obviously the mouth is open. I could say that it is also threatening. Did I spell that correctly? No, I didn't. In addition to threatening, it is moist, and this can go back up to the drips verb before. The mouth looks angry. And notice also that it's not round, it's almost four-sided, so I'm going to say that it's angular. And so that is the process there. Now we do the same thing for lips. We use the tab key, and obviously gently. And so I'm notice that the lips, in particular around the corner, seem to be pulling. So I'm going to say that as a verb, they strain. Strain. Also around the lower lips, they sag. And around notice the lower lip is kind of sticking out. I'm going to use the verb jut You could also use the verb, I would think, pout there as well. In addition, and then they are revealing his teeth, so I'm going to use the word reveal. And notice that they curve in the back part of the mouth. So I'm going to use that curve as a verb here. The mouth curves around the lower teeth. Now we're going to go down and do adjectives. And I might say that it's a horrid mouth. Try to stay away from using adjectives like good and bad. Try to be very specific. Certainly the mouth, I am sure, is very loud. He is hollering there. In addition, one might be tired of listening to him, so we might say that it's overactive. It is also oval shaped, so I'm going to use that as an adjective. And I'm going to put it in the right place first. Oval, and finally, getting back to the dripping, moist thing, I'm going to say oozing. Now notice I have a couple of ing words here, but they're adjectives. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first 5, which are the verbs, and I'm going to make them a separate color, let's say red, and then I'm going to take the second 5, the adjectives, and make them another color just to make it easier to read. I'm making them blue here. And then we go on and do that for each of the verbs that we have here. Let's take a look at what we have. We might write a sentence then about the mouth, say something about the horrid mouth gapes as it releases moist, oozing odor. And so you can use these words to make sentences, as unpleasant as that one may be. Nonetheless, that's kind of where we're headed. So you're using action verbs, none of them ending in ing, and you're using adjectives, things that will modify directly the noun, so nothing ending in ly. And you do that for each of them, and then you will be finished with this step. And that is